One of the most annoying things about having suffered a psychotic break is being able to effectively communicate what this experience was like. It's not being able to communicate the experience. I'm communicating in such a weird way is because I'm trying to, in some small way, resemble the experience that I faced. The reason why my top 10 list is the way it is. The videos are so crazy now and so disjointed and discombobulated. Part of the big problem for me with experiencing psychosis on the level that I did and hallucinations, everything is I have a hard time explaining things normally because I'm not very good at communicating. I don't know why it's so hard. I normally am able to do videos just fine and just talk about whatever, but for some reason, when I'm talking about this subject, when I'm doing this video, I always fuck it up in ways that make it incomprehensible. I'm trying to get better. That's part of what this is effectively just me trying to communicate the same thing over and over and over again in as many different ways as possible, so that maybe I can say it in a way that someone will understand. I feel like I'm never going to be able to effectively communicate this, but if I give up, then I know for sure I'll never be able to communicate it. So gotta keep trying. Otherwise I'm a failure. And the scariest thing about hallucinations for me is not the actual hallucinations, because when they're happening, it seems normal. The scary thing is how you can't tell the difference. And coming to understand that this, you can see something or hear something that never happened. That's the scary part. It's so hard to explain and feel like someone has adequately understood what I mean by this, because you see it in media a lot. It's like, oh, hallucinations, you're talking to this disembodied voice, or you're talking to a person you can see. It's like, that's not how it goes. I mean, at least that was not how it was for me. I'll just hear someone talking and that person will be there and they've been there all along, and then they're gone, and your brain just makes sense of it as it goes. That's what it's like. You ask a question in your mind, and the answer comes from the TV. Only the TV isn't really on, but you think it is, or it's saying things that it's not actually saying on the TV, and you think it's real. Because these hallucinations were happening, and I realized that they were happening, and I knew that it wasn't real, I began to not be able to trust my senses at all. Normally you think of your senses as something you can trust. But if you can't trust your senses, what can you trust? That's the most fundamental thing. It's I know that my hands are real because I can feel them, but what if that's a hallucination and you can't actually feel your hands? What if they're just holograms? It's fake, it's not real, but you think it is because you feel it and you trust your senses. And what if your sight isn't what you really believe it to be? What if it's a lie? And you have no way of knowing. Of course, I'm able to talk myself down from this at this point because I've experienced this enough times. The way you talk yourself down from that is you go, well, if that's the case, what would I do different? Can I get out? Can I push the escape button? There doesn't seem to be any way to do that. If this were a simulation and there were controls, maybe I would have access to them upon realizing that that's the case, but I don't. Okay, if I were designing a system like this, how would I ever design it? Okay, so maybe the best thing to do is to just keep going. Okay, even if it is fake, or if it's not fake, if it's whatever, I have to just, keep living. I don't know if that's the best way to talk myself down, but it's the only way I can really think of it right now. So if anyone has any better suggestions, feel free to let me know.